We've all seen the videos on YouTube promising that we can make thousands of dollars a month if we get on Pinterest, and are targeting the right keywords with, the right visuals and for our pins and things like that. So I wanted to find out, how easy is it actually to start a brand new Pinterest account in one of the more popular niches and go from, say, $0 to $5,000 a month? Now, if you're already on my email newsletter, which, sidebar, if you're not, definitely sign up on the link that's below in the description as well as the pinned comment, because you would have found out about this before now. So I asked my list, I want to do this, I want to keep it realistic, see what kind of money we can actually make, not like going crazy, and working tons on it, but realistically, say you have a day job, you only have a little bit of time to put in towards this. Can you actually make a reasonable amount of money from Pinterest right now, here in the second half of 2025? Now, I asked my list, what is a reasonable monthly goal in terms of, income? And the answer at the time of recording this was actually tied. So there was an even number of people who said $5,000 a month, which is why you see the 5,000 with the question mark, as well as people who said less than $3,000 a month. Now, I'm assuming that this tie is based on how much the people responding wanted to make, for it to be worthwhile for them. So I don't know, we'll say maybe $2,000 to $5,000 a month. Now, what I want to do today, I'm actually, clearly announcing the start of this project for myself here, is I want to show you how I have already picked the niche for this site, because I don't really want to work in some of the most popular niches, right? Because, beauty, fashion, hairstyles, things like that, I have zero desire to look at every day. So let's hop on over to the tool that I'm using for this, and I'll show you how I narrowed down my topic. The tool that you see on your screen right now that I've been using is called PinClicks. I only recently signed up for this and started to use it. I did the free trial sometime last year, and it wasn't really something I was interested in using at the time, and I didn't really have the time to use it then. They've added a lot of new features since I first started using it, so it took me a little while, of playing around with it, seeing, how does this actually work? Can I use this to pick a niche for my new site and new Pinterest account? So let's just scroll through here. I'll show you what it looks like when you are looking here in the Keyword Explorer part of PinClicks. So as you can see, this Keyword Explorer, it's obviously keywords. They are listed by highest volume to lowest. I'm assuming this is monthly because that's usually, what volume keywords are. I do wish that this top bar here would kind of stay frozen as I scroll, because as I was using this earlier, I kept having to go back up and what's that check mark for in that column, because I didn't really remember. And honestly, I don't really know if that's important or not, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever really used this tool for Pinterest. I've always done Pinterest kind of, doing my own thing. So back to the keywords here, got this high volume. It looks like I actually accidentally removed some stuff by clicking on those, so let's just unclick those. Okay, so nails. Again, zero interest from me in doing that. We have foreign language. I don't even know what this is. Foreign language again. Wallpaper, not interested. Hairstyles, iPhone wallpaper, outfit ideas, no. I'm still scrolling through here. I was like, I kind of like anime, but I don't really think I like it enough to do it, for Pinterest. Happy birthday. That's super vague, right? Now, I did seriously consider creating a site that was focused on all of the holidays, because I was like, well, that could be pretty fun, because it would kind of be constantly changing content, right? And I would always have something trending for the most part, because there would be, high peaks. You'd go from, say, Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to Valentine's Day and so on, right? But I don't know, that's just not for me. I did seriously consider it though, and who knows, I may go back, later on and do a site like that. Drawing ideas, don't know that I could come up with enough stuff for that. So memes, again, pretty generic. Halloween costumes. This is another one of those things I saw where I was like, I should really do a holiday one. But like I said, in the end, I decided against that. I'm scrolling through here. It's easy to see things like, say, tattoo ideas. Obviously that would be great for AI image use, right? You could use AI images, create all kinds of cool tattoo ideas. The problem is one of the ways I plan on monetizing is display ads, and places like Mediavine and Raptive cracking down on AI images. So that is a no-go for me. Flowers is interesting, and I do have a gardening site that does quite well on Pinterest. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, I could just do flower content on that site. And I really want to start something new, so wipe that off of my possibility list. As you can see, there's a lot of foreign language stuff here, which is pretty interesting. Christmas nails, again, something else for that seasonal site, the holiday focused site. I really thought what I had found was on the main page here, but we'll keep going here. Good morning. Again, such a very vague thing, right? I assume that's like a quotes niche, possibly. Still scrolling here. I promise you there is something I was interested in. Here it is. This is the first one that really caught my eye for a few reasons. One, I've never really had a food site that I focused on, getting monetized and things like that. So it would be something completely new to me. Two, everyone eats, right? Everyone's for the most part eating dinner. So, it's super evergreen. You can see there's tons of volume for it. Tons of possibilities, actually, right? So I really like that. I'm going to bookmark that because that food really seems like something that I want to do here. Obviously, I don't have a list. So that's great that I added this to the list, but this is actually kind of a terrible feature because I've lost my place, right? So we'll go back to this. Let's see if I can just jump ahead to dinner ideas here. Okay, there we go. So as I was scrolling through here, I'm like, okay, but I don't want to just focus on dinner ideas, right? I want to have a few more food topics so that I'm not doing the same thing, every day, every blog post, stuff like that. So I did end up seeing a few more things here. Maybe it was on page 2. Basically, what I'm going to show you is basically the different keywords that I was seeing here that have high volume that made me think, okay, this is the, food is the niche that I do want to go into. I've already got ideas for, this, and this. And honestly, the ideas are all coming directly from what I'm seeing here in PinClicks based only on search volume. Now, the bad thing, though, with these things being very high search volume is, of course, more competition, right? Because everyone's probably using this tool in the same way. Let's just keep going here because I know there were more options here, and there was actually another one I seriously considered. I really thought we already did dinner recipes. Let's try bookmarking that and finding out. Is that my list, I think? Okay, so I guess that went there. I'm sorry, this is breakfast ideas. So we have another option. Okay, mixing it up from, just dinner. We'll do breakfast as well. Hopefully I'll be able to rename that list that I just named new list, right? As you can see, I haven't created any lists until right now. The cake is an interesting one because is this going to be something that's going to be like holiday themed, or is this going to be something else? I don't really know if that will work for me, and what I already am visualizing for this food site or not. But, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my bookmarks just because it's something that I'm seeing that is relevant to the general, food thing that I have selected for my site. And it's obviously high volume, right? So I definitely want to look more into that and what it offers. Now I am scrolling through here looking for something very specific to show you, which was a niched down food related category that I considered just niching down into. But I decided there wasn't actually enough volume for it because as you can see, this easy dinner recipes keyword I just added has over 4 million for its volume each month. Chicken recipes, 4.1. Like, who knew chicken was so popular, right? I mean, I like chicken, but still. Like I said, there is something very specific I'm looking for here to show you. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you. It's coffee. I love coffee. So it seems like a no-brainer for me to pick. And I thought, okay, well, I'd already decided on food, so I'll just niche down and do coffee. But man, look at this. This is like such a drop in volume. And I'm like, I don't know if that is a good idea, because when you click through and look at a lot of the coffee things, they're not, let me see, is this the Pinterest link? Yes. They are not basically things that I think will get clicks through to the site. And that's what I need. I need topics that people will click the link to go to my site. Let's just take a look here and see what comes up. Okay, so, we can see here what's come up here. We've got like vintage coffee mug, retro style. That's a shopping, query. That's a product e-commerce query. These are the reasons why basically when I was looking into coffee, I was like, coffee is not really going to work for what I'm trying to achieve here, because what I need is a lot of traffic to my site so that I can, make money from this site. So let me go ahead and close that. So yes, I did pick food, and I've kind of given you some of the reasons why, but I just wrote it down here. Like, these are like my main criteria when I sat down to think, like, what do I want from a niche that I'm going to use to try to make, a bunch of money a month from Pinterest. It needs to have good traffic, right? That's definitely non-negotiable. The higher the better, which is why, I'm picking food. It needs to have a decent RPM for ads, because ads will be the primary revenue stream, at least initially. And it needs to have the possibility for other monetization options, affiliate, ebooks, things like that, other ways that I can make money. And I just see here, I forgot one thing, which is evergreen, right? We want something that I'm going to have traffic all year long, right? I don't want something where maybe only 6 months of the year there's going to be a lot of traffic. In my past, I've been in a lot of seasonal niches, and I definitely do not want that for this site. Food, people eat every day, right? So that is another thing that makes it a great option. Now, one thing I did want to show you, and I hope that it's working because it was not working for me earlier, is here on pin clicks on the sidebar, you can actually, narrow down and look just at the niche that you're interested in. And they do have a food and drink option. Now, when I tried this earlier, it wasn't working. Oh, so it is well, it's kind of working, right? I mean, we have Snoopy coming up here as a food and drink related keyword. Now, if you are also a child of the 80s like me, you probably see this and think, oh, maybe this is about that old school, Snoopy snow cone thing that, kids used to have. No, I didn't see any of that when I looked at it earlier, so I'm not really sure why Snoopy is listed here. You can see coffee down here, and while I cut part of this video because it was taking me so long to scroll, I did go ahead and bookmark also pizza. I actually used to have a pizza site that did quite well. So these are the kind of topics that I'm going to be looking at to create the content for this new site. Obviously, dinner recipes was something that I noticed, had obviously the highest volume, so that will be something that I will be focusing on. And obviously, if you can do dinner recipes that are chicken, you can double dip here. I did want to show you this one feature, the see the top pins, that is available here, in this pin clicks tool. It gives you a lot more data than you're going to get just going direct to Pinterest. So you can see the actual pin, the title, of the pin, the website that it goes out to. They seem to have developed their own scoring system here for the pins. Number of times that it has been saved. Saves is a huge factor in Pinterest in terms of the algorithm and how often your pins get shown. With the ranking position, when it was created. This is a very interesting one, I think. You can see a lot of these are very recent pins. Is it a repin in the number of comments that's on the pin? Now, what you can kind of see here, when you hover over this, you can see a little more information about the pin. You can see the actual pin. You can see which board it's on, things like that. Now, one thing I really found interesting here is that this tool's actually showing the pins that I've already been given that AI modified tag on Pinterest. So that's something really interesting to see here, because as we're looking at the top pins, we really only see this one that has the tag. But when I was looking through these earlier, I was like, more of these are actually AI. Now, what I find interesting about that is I think we can take clues from those other pins in terms of what are they doing different where they're managing to fly under the radar, and not get tagged as AI modified. So that's just basically where I am at right now in terms of starting this new Pinterest project, right? Picking the niche for it, because I wanted something that gave me, a really good chance when it came to making money from it. while not, forcing myself to suffer through these other niches that are more popular, like hairstyles that I don't really want to be a part of, and having to deal with day in and day out. I do hope that you will stick around and watch the upcoming videos. I'm going to make this, basically chronicling everything that I'm doing for this site to see, like, are these other videos where people are saying that you can make these thousands of dollars, like, are they total BS? Or can you actually still do this today? So that's what I'm hoping to find out, and I'm hoping we can do it in less than 12 months. So if that is of interest to you, definitely subscribe to my channel. If you have any thoughts about what I'm doing here, feel free to drop those in the comments below. If you have any questions about this, go ahead and leave those below as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks for watching.